Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Black Women, I Hear You. This topic is going to be a little deep today, 'cause I feel like we don't discuss this enough in the black community. And I want to call this rape culture. It's a lot of black families, I feel like, that's been through this, especially black women who's been through something like this, where they was sexually traumatized, molested, raped, and usually they're raped or molested by someone they know within the family or like a close friend to the family. And I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough. It gets swept under the rug, swept under the rug, and everybody just go about their day like nothing happened. Like, no, something did happen, and this black young girl who turns into this black woman is traumatized by this, who she's broken by this, she still hasn't fully healed by this. But we don't pay attention to that because it's like it's happened. We're taught on survival, so it's something you just got to survive on your own. And I feel like we need to just have that open dialogue and actually talk about this and like the process and the mindset of how it affects the black young girl growing up into a black woman. Now I do have someone on the line. Her name is Bree, and Bree has been through this before, and she's definitely going to enlighten us with how that situation went down and just the mental, emotional effect of it, and how was she treated after that? How did she look at herself after that happened? How she look at the guy who did it? How different is that now, that knowing the fact that that was, someone who was close to her? Hey, Bree, you there?
See.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad that you took the time to be, on this interview, because this is a really deep topic, and I feel like, what you experience, I feel like you'll be the right person to elaborate of what that looks like and how we can not like cater to it, but how can we treat you better as far as like you going through that and you being traumatized by that. How should we go about, respecting you, treating you, and just, when you have your moments when you're thinking about it, how do we cater to that to where we can get you back on the right track? So let's start with, so what happened, if you don't mind sharing that experience or that story?
Okay. Okay. Well, I can share it with you, but to keep it short, sweet, to the point, it started. I would say around a little before third grade. So in third grade, you're about 8 years old. So a little before I was 8 years old.
Right.
The first time it happened, I've had numerous experiences, but the first few years, I dealt with two different cousins.
Right.
One cousin, he was way older than me at the time. I would have to say, at least in his 20s, and I was at least 8 years old, like I said.
Right.
And we was over my aunt's house, and I don't know why he was over there. I don't remember why I was over there, but he was supposed to be watching me.
Right.
We were hanging out in the room, and then it was nighttime. I do remember we had on a movie, and I was laying in the bed. Now, this is my older cousin, so,
Right.
It should not have been a problem, but, clearly it was. And he asked me, he just told me to touch his, penis.
Right.
And as an 8-year-old, I felt that it was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I could feel that it was wrong.
Right.
But
right.
I'm an 8-year-old. He's telling me what to do. He's guiding me because I'm the child and he's the adult,
Right.
Honestly, after that, things were fine for a while, I believe. I don't really remember. The next memory I have is being over my nana's house on my dad's side, and my two cousins. I had two cousins that lived there. I'm gonna name them Mike and Eric.
Right.
Eric was older than Mike, and Eric was also adopted. Mike was, he was biologically a part of the family.
Right.
But Eric was adopted entire family. I was the favorite grandchild. I'm telling you this because it's gonna lead into what happened. But,
Right.
I was the favorite grandchild. I was the first granddaughter, and I was my grandparents' favorite daughter, his first, and I'm the first granddaughter. So I was the favorite, and my two cousins knew that. They
Right.
knew that if I asked my grandparents for anything, they would give it to me. So anyway, of course, there was some jealousy there.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that's why my cousin did what he did, because it was to get back at, my parents and my grandparents, not really me. But I guess that was the only way he knew. And the crazy thing about Eric is, Eric wasn't even that much older than me,
Right.
So there's another issue. It's like children molesting children now,
Right. So what did he do?
Huh?
I said, what did he do?
Well, the very first time anything happened was, I believe I was at least 10 or 11 at the time, staying the night over my grandparents' house, and I would get out of bed and go in my cousin's room to watch TV with them.
Right.
And he just asked me to give him oral sex, and I don't know what I'm doing, at 10 or 11.
Of course.
So, that happened. And that continued for years, until one day we were at summer camp, and I guess he hurt my feelings or something, because I just remember crying in the bathroom. And
Right.
I don't even remember this girl. And sometimes I feel like I spoke to an angel, because I feel like I spoke to an angel in that bathroom, because I don't remember this girl's face. I had never seen her at that summer camp, and I don't know why she was it was like she was hiding in the bathroom. I don't know. Because when I got in the bathroom, I couldn't hear her immediately, and I didn't see her immediately.
Right.
I remember that.
Right.
But anyway, I was crying in the bathroom, and I told her that one of my cousins had been touching me inappropriately, and she went and got a counselor, and I told the counselor. And the next thing I know, I was being picked up early from camp. My cousin stayed back,
Mm-hmm.
and when I got to my grandparents' house, it was a lot of commotion, a lot of police cars. My parents were there, because everyone was just confused as to how he could be doing this to me, and we're always at my grandparents' house,
Right.
So yeah, it stopped there. It stopped for me, not for him, because he went on to continue to molest other young girls.
Mm.
And the way he got around that was he went into the service, and so that he was able to kind of do what he wanted to do to the black women he hurt.
Right.
And then he was able to just run and escape from it. So now we're here stuck dealing with bullshit and trauma.
Right.
And he gets to run off and continue to harm others. Great. And he went on to get married and have children. Yes, I'm sitting here dealing with, a childhood of...
Right. You felt like your childhood was robbed.
Yeah,
From
I listened to my friends' childhood, their childhood stories, and how they just did dumb stuff. And my childhood was spent chasing boys, because, he took away my childhood wonder. Like,
Right.
he took away the opportunity, the want, to want to do childish things.
Right.
Because at that point, by the time everything was finished and done with, I was boy crazy. And when women are sexually, assaulted, they become promiscuous or they retract into themselves. But it's an extreme in either way, in either case, because when a woman becomes promiscuous, she's trying to take back her sexual power. She's trying to take that back because it was obviously taken away from her.
Right.
And when you see women kind of retracting to themselves, I understand that part too, because at a certain point, you start to feel like, okay, so what happened to me just don't matter, right? Because nothing happened for me.
Yeah,
I went to a couple of,
No, so yeah, so let's get into that. So like, how did the family, like your parents, respond to that? Like once they knew and once they found out like that happened to you, how did they respond to that?
Alright, so at my grandparents' house that day, my mom and my grandmother were all in my face, like trying to, get answers out of me. But honestly, I couldn't hear them. I just see them, because it was just so much. I'm like 10 or 11 at this time. I just told the biggest secret of my life. I'm thinking I'm in trouble. Because the police are there. But I really, really, really remember, looking around the room, and I remember seeing my dad, like, just looking completely just out of it, because what could he do? Like, my cousin was just a couple years older than me, so he can't beat the snot out of him like he a grown man,
Right.
And he's looking at me, because I'm pretty sure he's wondering, like, how the hell did I not know this for years? You know what I'm saying? So once all the smoke cleared, the police and everything, child protective services left.
Right.
My parents went to the police station. My grandfather worked for Grady, and he had ties with the police. And the police did not believe my parents because they knew my grandfather and my grandmother. And they just knew my grandparents would never allow
something like that. Yeah.
So, and you have to go to the police in the jurisdiction where it happened.
Right.
I can't go to the Riverdale police about a rape in Fulton County.
Right.
I can't.
Right.
They didn't even want to do a rape kit on me.
Oh my goodness.
Nothing. They didn't want anything from me. And this was the Fulton County Police. They didn't want to do anything for me. They didn't want to help me. And I remember going to the police station because my parents was like, you tell them the truth and everything when we get here.
Right.
And they turned us away.
Just like that.
They turned us away. They didn't believe my parents. They didn't believe my mother. And my mom tried to fight for me. She did. And they didn't believe us. So my mom, she didn't know what else to do at that point.
Right.
They went and got me counseling and therapy, but I told them, I didn't need it anymore, so we stopped going.
So why did you, not to cut you off, why did you tell them you didn't need it anymore?
I felt like I didn't need it anymore. I felt, I remember they were saying, you need to forgive him. And I felt like it had been enough time, like, okay, I don't care about him anymore. I felt like that was me forgiving him. I don't care anymore.
Right.
So I stopped therapy because I just felt like it was a waste. Of course, now I look back on it and clearly it was not a waste, and clearly I should not have been able to make that decision. I should have definitely continued therapy, because when I talk about it now, and, I cry and I get all of that emotion out the way and I feel better about it.
Right.
So it kind of makes me feel like, okay, maybe I should talk about it. But here's my thing about that. It's like, I've tried talking to my so-called friends about things like this and they just shrug it off, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, you feel like the people around you, especially your best friends, are people you should be able to discuss these things with, and you can't because they don't give a shit because it has not happened to them.
Right.
So they don't understand the severity of the feelings.
Right.
Or they don't understand the severity of just placing me in certain situations, you know what I'm saying, because of these things that have happened to me, I feel like you should have know and understand, okay, Brianna shouldn't be here, or I shouldn't, invite her here, or whatever, the case may be.
Right. So growing up with that, so let's fast forward time. So you're in high school now. Like, you're becoming a young woman now. You're not a young girl anymore. You're becoming a young woman. How is that psyche, and how is that, like, knowing that happened to you? How are you carrying that day to day when it comes to interaction with other guys? Like, do you think about, are they gonna try to do that with me too, or do you like hold yourself to a certain pedestal because that happened to you, so you're not gonna allow this or that to happen when you come across associated with young guys?
Okay, so by the time I was in high school, I was really violent. I mean, I was sexually active, but I was violent because I refused. You're not.
Right.
You're not going to hurt me.
Right.
No one is. And so I was violent, very angry. There were times where I would get out of control emotionally because I just didn't understand what I was doing.
That's deep.
Because these two cousins were the first men to ever enter inside my body, I believe their demonic, evil-ass spirits are still attached to mine.
Because them soul ties do be real, especially when it's, sexually transmitted.
Yeah. And because the intentions behind them were just so degrading.
Yeah.
I mean, you have no respect for me. And the guys that I dated, they did not respect me. They did not love me. They used me, I didn't see them as using me at first because they masked it with, oh, I love you, you know what I'm saying? But they did not love me.
Right.
And honestly, you can't find the right guy to love you until you love yourself, and I'm still struggling with that as well.
Right.
Because I let guys, I ain't gonna lie, I let guys treat me however sometimes. Now sometimes, I be like, okay, I'm finna beat your ass because you really thought shit was sweet and it ain't sweet. Sorry. I don't know if I can curse on here.
No, you can.
But yeah, sometimes, like, I have my moments where I'm like, oh, I'm that bitch, you know what I'm saying? And then there are moments where I really want a guy to like me. And so I make up in my mind, like, I'm going to do anything to make him happy. But that then again puts you in a whole cycle of, again, allowing a man to, like, do what he wants because you want to please him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that comes along with the psyche of, low self-esteem because I don't think I'm worth good things. I don't think I'm worth having a guy I don't have to work so damn hard for. I feel like in every relationship that I've been in, I've at least stressed myself to a point where there was nothing else I could do to make the relationship work. You know what I'm saying? And it's because these guys don't care. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? But that's the quality of men I'm around or I attract because that's what's inside of me. Right. Even though I'm a very sweet person and I'm good natured and I come with good intentions. Right. But I can't ever get that back. Or I get it for a time. Get it for a time.
Right. So So let's talk about you dating now, and we're not talking about high school dating because no one takes high school dating serious. So we're going to talk about after high school dating, like how you're dating men. And did you even share, this story with men you've dated, like when you're first getting to know each other? Did you share that, that information with them, and how did they respond?
No, I don't share things like this with men that I'm dating because niggas can't, so sorry, but guys can't handle you being honest with them and saying, hey, I like you. Right. They can't even handle that. So how am I supposed to be able to tell them about, being sexually assaulted before the age of 8, No, that's not something. Dating right now for me is all about what it is for the guy's sex because I don't take it seriously anymore.
Right.
You know, I mean, I used to date for marriage, but I no longer do that. I want to have fun. I don't want this to be anything serious because you can't handle that, and I know you can't until you're ready. So let's just not even go there. Which sucks, but
right.
I'm emotionally just not like willing nor ready to like continue to give my heart or anything to another human being.
I definitely understand that. So let's talk about you're a older woman now. So let's talk about, have you ever experienced where a guy did a gesture towards you, rather he said something or touched you a certain way or did something that kind of triggered that bad experience you experienced when you was a child?
I mean, yeah, and guys don't even. Prime example. When I was little and before anybody knew about, what happened with me and my cousin.
Right.
My dad used to take me to school, and my dad loved me. He's never ever even whooped me. He only whooped me once. You know what I'm saying? So this is a man who just loved his daughter.
Right.
And one day he was taking me to school, and he was singing "I'm Going Down" by Mary J. Blige. I mean, like he was singing her version or whatever. And we always did that. That was something we always did.
Right.
But one day he grabbed my thigh and was just like, excuse me, shaking my thigh, just playing with me.
Yeah.
And that, like, really did something to me. Now, this was my dad.
Right.
He never ever,
right.
inappropriately hurt me, anything like that. But him putting his hand on my thigh like that did something to me. It scared me. It put me in a weird place, you know. And every time he did that, it did that for me. But I never told my dad because how do you tell your father that you can't touch me or play with me, in a certain way, in a normal way? Because it makes me feel uncomfortable or because it reminds me of when X, Y, and Z,
Right.
Because now it's sad for them or it's sad for my dad, and I don't want to make them sad.
Right. That's deep, man. And what about just guys outside your dad that you've like dated or had relationships with or anything like that? Like, have you ever experienced where you're out with a guy and maybe y'all just somewhere like at a restaurant or a drive-in or something, and he did something that kind of triggered that without knowing that he triggered that?
Oh yeah, one time. Sorry. One time when I was in college, I was dating this guy. Not really dating, just talking to him. He was taking me out to eat or whatever. He was like, hey, you want to go grab something to eat and chill? I'm like, sure. I'm thinking we're going to go out to eat and then, go chill somewhere, eat, chill at his house, and he was going to bring me home.
Right.
Well, he drove past, like, every single restaurant, and I'm like, where are we going? He was like, to my crib. And I'm like, I thought he was getting something to eat. He was like, yeah, but, we're going to stop at the crib first. I don't want to do that. I want to go out to eat, and I want to enjoy a night out. Like, that's what you said we were going to do.
Right.
And, like, he started getting, all weird, and he kicked me out of his car.
Oh, my goodness.
And I told him that was fine because I will kill you before I let you harm me. And I promise you I will. Like, so go ahead and kick me out your car, bro. I would rather, and I know it's crazy to say, but I would rather die than to allow another man to touch me in that way without my permission. Or he can die.
I definitely get that. And I think a lot of black women feel like that. Honestly, I think a lot of women feel like that. So it's not crazy for you to say that. It's a lot of black
men out here. It's a lot of black men out here. It fucking trips me out because it's like, I go through so much for you, black man. I go through so much for you. Because every man that I've been with has been African American. I've never once dated anyone outside of that. And every single one, with maybe the exception of who has treated me disrespectfully. I was out with my guy brother, his little white girlfriend, and this little nigga I was talking to. I mean, we were cool over there. We were friends, but I wasn't dating them. But I was out with them. They're black. I'm a black woman. She's a white female, right?
Right.
And these black boys literally call this white girl exotic. She's as American as they come. What the hell do you mean exotic? I'm exotic, bitch. My hair defies gravity, bitch. What the fuck you mean? I got melanin in my skin, bitch. I was not born over here, bitch. I was brought over here. I'm exotic. How was she exotic? She is as American as a hot dog. Really? But she's exotic. That shit really pisses me off. And it's like, the men who took advantage of me, black. The men who hurt me, black.
Right.
The men who tell me they love me but kick me out their car, black. But I'm supposed to stand behind you. The bitch, white bitch, is exotic. How?
Right.
I need help understanding. And I promise you, she won't be the one standing on the sideline screaming Black Lives Matter when you're dead. But whatever.
Okay.
But whatever.
Right. So that was a lot. I didn't expect for you to respond like that, but I definitely felt that passion from it though. So I appreciate that. So we're about to wrap this up. So we know what the problem is as far as like things like this that's swept under the rug in the black communities. So let's come up with a solution. So how do we help the situation? Like when it comes down to you express that this happened to me, so help me deal with this. How do we help you deal with this?
I think it starts with us, because if I don't love myself, then I can't teach you how to love me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God! Hold on, let me cut y'all right quick. I want to just thank you for saying that, because I really agree. Like, we do need to help, but we need to know how to help, and I think that does start with the woman. The woman need to express how you can help me, because I don't think in this regard, I don't think a lot of them are doing that. And not saying they're wrong about it, but stuff like that, it's just hard to open up about that, and I get it. But the fact that you was brave enough to come on the show and just open up about that and even give a dialogue how we can help, I really appreciate that. So continue. I'm sorry.
Okay. But also, I feel like it's basic things like respect me and respect my body and respect my decisions. Mm-hmm. If you are going to be out here having sex unprotected, you know, it takes two to tango, and I understand that. And she needs to respect her body first. But if I'm pregnant and we both have unprotected sex, you know what I'm saying? Respect me and respect my body, and
right.
You know, be there for me. And whatever I decide is what I decide, and you need to be cool with that. You know what I'm saying? Also, I feel like it just comes with if I say no, it's a no.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely agree.
A lot of guys be like, "Oh, you just playing." Like I remember one time where I really did not want to have sex with a guy, and I kept saying no, but I was laughing behind it because I was nervous. Right. You know. And he kept pushing, and it took me to a place, and the next thing I know, I was just laying there emotionless, just letting it happen, because at this point it's like, I told you no. You know what I'm saying? Right. And if I fight, are you going to beat the hell out of me, or are you going to stop? And that's just something I'm not willing to figure out.
That risk, so, yeah. That's deep.
You know?
Because I didn't even look at it like that in that perspective. Like, if that does happen, like when a guy tries to force their way into having sex with a woman, like it's almost like a guessing game. Like, do I fight back? Because if I fight back, what is he going to do to me? Because he obviously wants this real bad, you know. So do I just get myself into him in this situation so I could just live to see another day? Like, we as men need to understand that psyche and that thought process, because that it is a process, and women do think about that.
And here's my thing also is, you know, we're sexual beings too, and we want to have sex too. But I want to be safe. Like, I want to feel safe.
Right.
You know? And sex is already a nerve-wracking thing for anybody. Even experienced people, it can still be a nerve-wracking thing. You know,
right.
I feel like as a man, if you're going to have sex with any woman, you don't have to, this dudes be out here, I don't love these girls and blah, 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 whatever, nigga. You ain't got to love her, but you could treat her with respect. She is a human being.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely agree. And I'm going to say this too, and we're going to wrap it up after this. Black men, we got to start holding each other accountable, because 9 out of 10 times when this happened, we know it happened and we know the person who did it, because 9 times out of 10 it's rather a family member or someone close. So we really need to be out here checking each other, because that stuff is not cool, that we're harming and degrading and just abusing and taking control of these black women where we came from. You know, so I don't understand that logic or that thought process of why we would do that to our own woman, or just woman, period. So I feel like we need to really check ourselves, brothers, and really get on our ish about that. Like, hey, bro, that's not cool, and we're going to address this. Whether I got to fight you, or you may need some help of why you did that. But either way, you ain't going to do that again, no, period. So we're going to wrap it up there. Bree, I thank you for coming on to the episode and really sharing your experience. Salute you. And, I just thank you. And I just really pray for you that you'll get the proper healing that you need, and just grow into a beautiful woman that you're becoming. So thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.